Welcome from the Grap Coin YouTube channel. Another ICP update is given in this video. It's effectively staying at a very high level since we began this consolidation in December, without moving much, at least not in an obvious direction. Though it is probable, given the structure, I am inclined to anticipate another decline. We also look at what would have to happen for me to declare that we are in a good situation. For the moment, going higher and more directly is worthwhile to understand. I assume you are already familiar with the chart, but for those who aren't, it's clear that this is a long-term downturn. Thus, I approach it warily rather than with a lot of assumptions. Well, whatever transpired here, we can begin the Eli wave count at its lowest point ever since. Although important, this year's upswing that started in September is not greatly affected by it. They just fail most of the time. In a bull market, however, the optimistic scenario and case are more likely to be selected. Thus, we are keeping an eye on increased prices in relation to particular support levels and significant levels. The yellow box here shows the important levels that need to be reached in order to maintain a generally bullish viewpoint. Technical analysis can help you find them. Price movement higher is highly likely to occur in either the yellow or white count if the yellow support zone holds. But otherwise, anything negative is basically indicated by a break below $433. Please remember that this chart is not only stating, okay, bullish expectations, we have to tackle it from the standpoint that, given the long-term chart, we should go carefully. I mean, this chart has to prove itself because there isn't a long-term uptrend. At the 433 level, which is the 78.6 retracement of the climb to the most recent highs in March, probability frequently turns negative. A few exceptions apart, many cryptocurrencies fail, but more currencies will endure cycles after cycles like those. Doge and BNB did rather successfully. Apart from that, hardly many other currencies are as precious as ethereal. Most of them expire eventually. Although it isn't the most elegant way to begin a chart, we have that 5-wave climb up that we have already named and discussed. Updates 5 waves up to the March high, and now maybe a 3-wave BC pattern pullback. The idea was that after this wave 1 crested or labeled it a wave that doesn't matter in the short term, the price would drop, as in previous videos and updates. A second wave with a BC structure may then be developing right now. Perhaps the dog in the background is scratching himself. 3 waves up, maybe a B wave, followed this a wave down to about $11. While not very strong right now, I would argue that. I call the likely 5-wave drop wave 1 of C, or 1 option out of 2. I'm watching this closely. Wave 3 of C would come after this. After wave 2, I can give you a precise goal at $866, which is at least one critical level where we say, well, we know the length of the A wave. Let's compare it to the length of the C wave. And it points to 866, which is just a little bit above the 100% extension threshold. Still, tiny designs are never easy. Though it is a previous large swing low, this support level at $10.70 zero minimal bearing on the wave and breaking below it should intensify the negative momentum. Right now, the resistance range is $145,534. What transpires should we surpass $1,534? Though it will have already happened, technically the invalidation requirement for wave 2 won't be reached until we surpass the B wave peak at $16.45. 5. All of the yellow box then is pertinent. In advance, if we break above resistance, invalidation will become much less possible, even though this looks to be 5 waves down to me. In such case, we are most likely in a bigger B wave. Though there are a lot of aberrations on the lower time frames, mechanically this B wave can be easily extended in a larger ABC flat structure. Then collapse, yet there is currently a lot of downside pressure on resistance. This is only a pivot. It does not mean that resistance cannot melt. The market will indicate to us to anticipate something unusual if the bulls can push it above resistance. Trading requires such levels. This is to argue that levels of resistance can be broken as well as resistance itself. Above 1,534, a different reading for which we already have a strategy becomes more likely. Negative pressure is pretty strong below that level, though it's unclear if we'll keep falling. My IP update comes to an end here. If you liked it, do like, comment, and sub. I appreciate you watching. The framework doesn't change all that much even if we get a high B wave.